The Paleolithic world was a place of raw survival, long before the first spark of invention. Across endless forests, rivers, and open plains, early humans moved like shadows, small and fragile in a landscape ruled by predators. Each day carried the same question: would there be food, or would hunger win? The land offered roots, berries, and scattered game, but every choice came with risk. Some plants could heal, others could kill. Guided only by instinct and careful observation, our ancestors learned through trial and error, carrying scars from mistakes that could never be repeated. Without tools, without farms, without even the safety of permanent shelter, life was a relentless struggle against nature itself. Yet it was within this harsh uncertainty that the first seeds of human resilience were planted, setting the stage for everything to come at dawn. A small human band sets out, their eyes scanning the forest for signs of food. Every sound matters, berries glisten with promise, yet danger hides in the grass. Armed with sharpened stones and sticks, they dig for roots, crack open nuts, and strip leaves with cautious hands. Curiosity drives them forward, but caution keeps them alive. Each discovery sparks relief, each mistake brings pain. Through trial and memory, they learn what nourishes and what poisons. Foraging becomes survival, yet also discovery. In the shadow of the grasslands, hunters crouch low, gripping spears chipped from stone. The air is thick with tension, one wrong move, and prey vanishes or predators strike first. Patience guides every step, skill sharpens every breath. Small animals are stopped, driven into traps, or cornered in bursts of desperate energy. Success is never guaranteed, but when it comes, the moment erupts in relief and celebration. A catch means more than meat, it is survival, strength shared among the group, and hope carried into tomorrow. Around the fire's glow, hands pass food from one to another, berries, roasted roots, or a small catch from the hunt. Every bite is precious, every shared meal a reminder that survival is never an individual effort. Children learn by watching, tasting, and listening as elders point out what nourishes and what harms. In the act of sharing, fear eases, trust grows, and bonds deepen. These fragile circles of cooperation became humanity's greatest strength, paving the way for resilience, adaptability, and the beginnings of a richer, evolving diet. The forest breathes with abundance, yet every step carries danger. Towering trees cast shadows over tangles of roots, thorny bushes, and bursts of wild fruit glistening in the light. For early humans, this was more than scenery. It was a pantry filled with both nourishment and threat. Each berry could be a gift or a poison. Every rustle in the grass might reveal food or a snake. Moving slowly, they sniff, taste, and test, guided by instinct and memory. In this living maze, survival demanded respect, patience, and sharp senses. In the heart of the wilderness, survival often depended not on brute strength, but on careful eyes and patient learning. Women and children became the keen observers of the land, their days spent tracing roots, peeling bark, and testing wild berries. Around small fires, elders guided them, pointing to leaves that healed and others that killed, pressing lessons into memory through story and repetition. Trial and error left its mark. Bouts of sickness taught caution, while rare discoveries brought joy. Over generations, this wisdom formed a living library, passed from voice to voice, shaping humanity's earliest blueprint for survival. Each day in the wild was a gamble. A forager's path wound through thickets, where snakes coiled unseen, insects bit at bare skin, and sudden storms turned safe trails into mud and danger. Still, hunger drove them forward. Hands dug into the earth for tubers, while others braved heights to pluck fruit from fragile branches. Ingenuity turned survival into discovery, roots soaked to drain their poison. Grains shaken free with clever strokes. Relief surged when a hidden patch of food appeared, yet unease lingered, for every step carried risk. Foraging was both a test of endurance and a triumph of human wit. The wilderness revealed its secrets slowly, and humans learned to listen. Seasons carried rhythms, berries ripened with summer sun, roots swelled after rains, and herds moved along predictable paths. Survival meant moving in step with these cycles, following the land's hidden clock. Knowledge alone was not enough. It was cooperation that turned scarcity into stability. Honey was divided, nuts were piled for all, and grains were carried back to the fire. Each shared meal strengthened the invisible threads of trust. Food was never just nourishment, it was the bond that tied individuals into a community of survival. High in the hollow of a tree, a glimmer of golden sweetness waits. The hum of bees warns of danger, yet the promise of honey outweighs the sting. With smoke, firebrands, or sheer bravery, early humans reached into the hive, pulling free combs dripping with energy-rich nectar. Relief turned to laughter as the group shared the sticky treasure, its sugars fueling weary bodies. Nuts, too, cracked open understones, released a feast of fat and protein. These rare finds were more than food, they were moments of triumph, etched into memory, shaping traditions of sharing and survival. Shadows moved silently through the trees, their eyes fixed on a single prize, a deer threading its way across the forest floor. Every snapped twig, every careless step could mean failure. In the Stone Age, hunger was never far away, and a missed strike might condemn an entire group to days of empty stomachs. Muscles tighten, breaths slow, and ears strain for sounds beyond the prey, because predators, too, stalk these woods. Hunting was more than pursuit. It was a razor's edge between survival and starvation, a crucible where strategy, courage, and endurance were forged. A sharpened branch became more than wood, it was a lifeline. Early humans carved spears, chipped stone into biting edges, and strung sinew into crude snares. Each tool carried the memory of trial and error, a spear that shattered on impact, a trap that snapped too soon, an arrowhead too dull to pierce hide. Slowly, skill replaced guesswork. With every refinement, survival tilted in their favor. These inventions didn't just capture prey, they guarded hunters from claws and fangs. Ingenuity became a weapon, transforming fragile bodies into predators with an edge, ready for the coordinated strategies yet to come. The hunt began long before a weapon was lifted. It started in silent eyes scanning the horizon, feet pressing gently into the soil, tracing the faint marks of hooves pressed into mud. Early humans learned to read the earth like a book, The bend of grass told where a herd had passed. A broken twig revealed direction, and the rhythm of migration carved invisible maps across their memory. Every detail mattered, for food meant life, and a single mistake could mean starvation. As prey moved, strategy unfolded. Some hunters circled wide to drive animals toward hidden companions waiting in ambush. Others crept low in tall grass, timing every breath to the shifting wind. Traps of woven branches and stone-lined pits became silent allies, while coordinated shouts and sudden movements turned chaos into capture. Success depended not on strength alone, but on patience, discipline, and trust. Yet danger shadowed every step. A distant leap brought the crushing force of antlers. A misplaced foot invited tusks or hooves to strike. Predators prowled the same trails, waiting to snatch opportunity from hunter or hunted alike. Failure was not just disappointment, it left the band hungry, weary, and exposed. Still, within this constant tension, something greater emerged. Communication deepened, hand signals and shared glances binding hunters into one mind. Strategy sharpened, memory stretched, and courage spread across the group like fire. Each risk, each narrow escape, carved bonds of loyalty that outlasted the hunt itself. These moments of shared struggle transformed hunting into more than survival. It became a crucible that forged intelligence, unity, and the earliest sparks of human society. The chase ended in thunder. Breathless bodies surged forward as the animals stumbled, hemmed in by shouts, spears, and stone. The final strike came swift as surge of adrenaline, a roar of triumph, and then silence. For a heartbeat, the hunters stood still, stunned by the weight of survival lying at their feet. Then relief broke over them like fire, laughter, tears, and fierce embraces as hunger gave way to victory. The kill was more than meat. It was marrow and bone for tools, hides to shield from cold, and life itself stretched a little further. Around the fire, flesh crackled and smoke curled skyward, turning necessity into celebration. In that circle of warmth and shared labor, humanity learned the power of unity. Through countless hunts, humanity forged more than survival, it forged identity. Each chase demanded trust, each strike demanded skill, and each victory bound the tribe closer together. Hunting was a teacher, sharpening minds as much as weapons, forcing early humans to solve problems, adapt to change, and invent tools that carried them forward. The rewards stretched far beyond hunger's end. Protein-fed bodies grew stronger, brains swelled with new capacity, and endurance set the stage for endurance-based living. Around the fire, elders passed wisdom to the young, not only how to throw a spear, but how to think, plan, and endure. In these circles of smoke and flame, the roots of society took hold: unity, foresight, and cooperation, seeds of civilizations yet to rise. From the shadows of the cave, a thin ribbon of smoke rose, twisting into the air like a signal from another world. Inside, flames leapt and crackled, throwing wild light against stone walls. Early humans stood frozen, eyes wide with wonder and fear. Was this a beast to flee from or a gift to claim? Its heat licked their skin, promising warmth against endless cold. Its light cut back the darkness, hinting at safety from lurking predators. In that flickering glow, curiosity sparked alongside caution, and humanity's path tilted forever toward transformation. They began cautiously, holding small animals over open flames, watching fat hiss and drip into the fire. Tubers were buried in hot ash, their hard skins softening into something unexpectedly sweet. Curious hands dropped grains and leaves onto coals, discovering new textures and flavors, sometimes nourishing, sometimes bitter, and sometimes deadly. Each attempt carried risk, yet every mistake sharpened understanding. Slowly, fire became more than warmth. It became a teacher. Through trial and daring, raw ingredients turned into safer, richer meals. These first experiments with cooking lit the way toward stronger bodies, sharper minds, and a new relationship with the natural world. With fire, a hidden door opened. Meat that once demanded hours of chewing softened in minutes. Roots once bitter and tough turned sweet and nourishing. Each bite released more energy, more nutrients, fueling bodies for longer hunts and sharper minds for planning ahead. Heat transformed what was once inedible wild grains cracked open. Fibrous plants gave up their strength, and the menu of survival expanded. More calories meant stronger muscles, steadier growth, and, most importantly, a brain hungry for fuel. Cooking was not just a new method. It was an evolutionary leap, ensuring humans could endure, adapt, and eventually dominate their unforgiving world. Night falls, and the wilderness grows darker. But at the center of the camp, a circle of light burns steady. Around the fire, early humans gather, the glow painting faces with warmth and flickering shadows. Cooked food is passed hand to hand, no longer eaten in isolation, but shared as a ritual of survival. Children lean in close, listening to elders explain the day's hunt, or imitating gestures that would one day become tradition. Sparks rise with laughter, with lessons, with the first stirrings of story. Fire was more than flame, it was a heartbeat. It bound individuals into families, families into tribes, and tribes into the beginnings of culture itself. With fire, life itself shifted. Meals that once spoiled quickly could now be preserved. Grains once too hard to chew softened into nourishment, and roots became edible treasures. This change rippled far beyond diet. Nutrition improved, bodies grew stronger, and lifespans stretched longer than before. Around the flame, people not only cooked but also planned, shared, and built bonds that turned scattered groups into lasting communities. Fire became the first tool of culture, a spark that paved the way for farming, villages, and civilizations yet to come. Picture a tribe dining together, flames dancing before them, the firelight embodying survival, wisdom, and the very ingenuity that defined humanity's rise. At the heart of a bustling farmer's market, the colors dazzled piles of ripe fruits, fresh greens, and cuts of meat neatly arranged under striped tents. The air hums with chatter, a stark contrast to the silence of ancient forests where every berry plucked, all animal tracked meant survival. Here, food is chosen with ease, not risk. Yet, beneath this abundance lies an echo of the past. For the rhythms of modern diets still carry the imprint of Stone Age choices, where survival forged the foundation of nourishment itself. In the Stone Age, survival was written in the language of food. Lean cuts of hunted meat, gathered nuts, wild plants, and bursts of seasonal fruit formed the rhythm of daily life. Each bite carried the strength needed for long hunts, foraging journeys, and the endless push against hunger. This diet, unrefined yet precise, balanced protein, fat, and fiber in ways modern science now rediscovers. It was more than sustenance, it was a blueprint of survival, shaping bodies, fueling minds, and leaving an imprint on human physiology that endures across millennia. The Stone Age diet was more than a menu, it was an engine of evolution. Protein from meat built muscle and stamina, while nutrient-rich plants fortified bodies against harsh climates. This steady fuel fed the brain, allowing it to expand, sharpen memory, and refine problem-solving. Variety was the key. Berries in summer, roots in winter, nuts carried across long journeys. Such adaptability gave humans the edge to endure droughts, cross frozen landscapes, and outlast rival species. In every sense, food shaped humanity not just for survival, but for the unfolding of intelligence itself. The rise of agriculture marked a new chapter in human survival. Fields of wheat and barley replaced wild meadows, while herds of goats and cattle stood where once only scattered prey had roamed. Farming brought stability, grains could be stored, herds tended, and surpluses created, but it narrowed the diet compared to the wild abundance of foraging. Yet old instincts lingered. People still craved fresh fruits in season, sought game when possible, and relied on nutrient-dense foods to endure hardship. Agriculture was adaptation, but beneath the plowed soil, echoes of the Stone Age diet shaped how humans continued to nourish themselves. Under the glow of firelight, the Stone Age meal was not simply food, it was survival woven into ritual. Roots pulled from the earth, berries gathered under the sun, meat hunted with risk, and patient siege bite carried the story of effort, endurance, and the will to live. These meals were sparse yet powerful, filled with the nutrients that shaped strong bodies and sharp minds. Eating was not just nourishment, it was a lesson in resilience, reminding early humans that life depended on harmony with the land. Today, the contrast could not be sharper. Shelves stacked with processed snacks and fast food blur the link between effort and reward. Calories are abundant, but nutrients are often lost in the mix. This imbalance has left modern societies facing epidemics of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease ailments unknown to Stone Age communities. What once fueled survival now feeds excess, showing the cost of drifting too far from the foods that sustained human evolution. Yet, the lesson of those ancient meals goes beyond nutrition. It speaks to connection, the gathering of families around a fire, the sharing of labor, the gratitude for the hunt or harvest. Food was memory, celebration, and survival bound together. To reflect on their diet is to remember not only what they ate, but how they lived, resourceful, patient, deeply tied to nature. When we pause to imagine their meals, the smoky taste of fire-roasted meat, the tartness of freshly picked fruit, the quiet gratitude shared in silence, we see more than survival. We see a reminder of what it means to be human, to eat with awareness, to honor the source of our food, and to carry forward the habits that once ensured our species would not just survive, but thrive.